everybody, this is Keith here of Euphoria Pictures. Welcome back to my channel. Right, so for this video I'm just going to quickly take you around my brand new television that I picked up. I got a 65-inch Sony A90J model, and it's an OLED TV. When it comes to me and televisions, I will always kind of move with the times, and one of the reasons to why I wanted to pick this television up is because apparently it is the brightest OLED TV you can buy on the market. And not only is it the brightest OLED, but it doesn't sacrifice those deep blacks that we've gotten used to when it comes to OLED TVs. So I thought that this was always going to be a no-brainer. I was always going to pick this TV up sometime. I was just waiting for the price to go down at a decent price. I'm not going to say I got it for dirt cheap, I didn't, but I got it for a hell of a lot cheaper than it was when it first came out. So happy to finally now have it inside this room. Now this video is not going to be a bashing of my last TV, the LG CX. What a TV that is. And as a matter of fact, I'm actually keeping that television. It's going inside the house now. I'm actually going to put it into my living room, and the Sony one now is going into the pod. But I always try to like I say, just move at the times. If there's ever any kind of improvement when it comes to televisions, I'm always going to pick them up. It's something that I have a passion for. I do love televisions, particularly OLED TVs, and like I said, if there's any kind of improvements made on OLED televisions, of course I'm going to look into it, and yeah, maybe consider pick one up, which I have. But this one in particular, I have to admit, Sony have done something truly remarkable with this TV. And a lot of it is to do with the XR processor that they're using in this. So Sony have really kind of focused on how we perceive pictures when we're looking at them. And they seem to be more focused now on what we see on the foreground more so than what we see on the background. So if you're kind of looking at a video and you have a video with a dog and he's right up at the screen in front of you, they'll probably fixate more on his fur and the fine detail on him more than like the blurred out grass that might be behind them. And I have to admit, that was a massive promise on Sony's side. I thought it was a whole marketing gimmick, but I have to admit, for the most part, it really has worked. It's something quite amazing. It really is. You just won't believe what you're watching. It's just, yeah, it's truly next gen. The HDR and Dolby Vision are just jaw-dropping. There's no other word for it. I have never seen anything like it. As a matter of fact, I would almost go as far as to say that the SDR content, the Blu-rays, they're even starting to look like 4K now. The colours on it, they'll actually look like HDR. And that's a huge testament to this television. The first movie we actually knocked on, believe it or not, was Freddy vs. Jason. And I couldn't believe what I was watching. It felt like I was watching a 4K disc, mainly because of the colours that you see in it. Again, I've just never seen it, these kind of colours on a Blu-ray release before. It was really something truly remarkable. I spent 3 hours, when I first bought this TV, I spent around 3-4 hours kind of just going through the calibration settings, trying to just calibrate it myself. I am by no means an expert. I'm definitely, you know, I would never call myself an expert. But you know what? I bought enough TVs to know how to get myself around the television. And yeah, it took me around 3 hours to kind of go through Sony settings, because this is the first time I've ever picked up a Sony television. This is the first time, yeah, I can't think of another time. I definitely never bought an OLED Sony television. This is my first one. So I had to get used to the don'ts and, you know, the do's and don'ts of this TV. And I have to admit, it came very quickly to me. But the first thing I done in it, and again, my brother Ian was the first person to let me know about this. There is an app on this television called Kalman for Bravia. And what that does is it actually unlocks 2 more picture modes. I think it's called Custom Pro. I think it's Custom Pro 1 and Custom Pro 2. And those 2 options drastically enhance your picture quality. That played a lot into my calibration of this TV, which I am going to take us around and show you very soon. I'm going to give you an idea of what I've done, and yeah, and hopefully maybe certain things that I can show you on this TV to stay away from, and maybe things that you probably did not know about, particularly that app. It was a pain in the ass to try and actually download it onto the TV. It was a weird thing. You kind of put the app onto it, and then all of a sudden an IP address comes up to it, and you have to put it through Google, and it just didn't work. It took a while to get that to work, but when it finally did work, all of a sudden them two options came up on your picture modes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this camera around, I'm going to put it onto my TV, and I'm going to show you exactly what I have on this, what's on this TV and what I've done to it. But I have to tell you folks, if you are looking to pick up a new television, and if you are interested in getting into OLED, honestly, I think this is the TV for you. I have never seen anything like it. It is truly next gen when it comes to televisions and OLED. You can clearly see the brightness, the difference in brightness now over my previous OLED is truly night and day. The highlights now on HDR is a massive standout, and it cannot be missed. It's something you need to see. And again, like I said, if you are interested, do check out this TV. I think you're really going to enjoy what you see. So right, let's get into the settings of this, and I'll show you exactly what I've done. Right, so here we go. This is the home screen. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you that app that I was talking about that you want to download when it comes to calibrating your TV. So you go into your apps there on the top, you scroll down here and you go right across, and you can see that says see all. Click into that, and if you go right down to the bottom here, there you go, Kalman for Bravia. That's the app that you want. And when you click on that and you go through everything you have to do, basically what will happen if you do it correctly, when you go into your picture settings here, and there you go, in the picture mode setting, you see custom for Pro 1 and 2. So them two options will appear, and it is a good benchmark to start you on your kind of calibration journey. Right, so another thing I wanted to quickly show as well on this TV before I go into the settings is this option here, Bravia Core. And what's great about this app is they actually have a lot of movies in here. Now, I think as far as I remember, when you buy a new TV like this from Sony, you're given these kind of vouchers. They're like 10 points. And on this website, you actually have all IMAX enhanced movies. And they cost 1 point, one voucher, whatever you want to call it. So definitely worth checking out, using them vouchers and getting 10 free movies. And I have to tell you, I've downloaded one so far. It was a Tom Hanks movie, A League of Their Own, and honestly, it was IMAX enhanced, and it looked absolutely extraordinary. So that's another thing to definitely look out for. Right, so I'm going to go back out of this here, if I can, and I'm going to start just through this, take you through my setup process. So as of right now, this is set to SDR. So I'm going to go into the settings here, go into my picture settings, and right there, right on the top there now, you can see I have it set to custom for Pro 1, but I will take you through all the other options you do have on this TV. So you have Vivid there, which honestly, it looks way too bright, and you would never want to use Vivid on any of these TVs, and I don't even know why it's actually there. Standard mode is it's your standard settings, but a lot of the items can be grayed out because of that. Cinema mode, I've never actually really used cinema mode, so I'm not quite sure. Game mode, again, ideal for all you gamers. Graphics mode, again, never used it. I've no use for it, as well as photo. And then you have custom, and custom basically activates every bit of features that you want to see on this TV. Nothing gets grayed out. So customs is a good way to look at it. But it is custom for Pro 1 that I have it set on, because again, I think it kind of enhances your viewing experience when it comes to picture quality. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here and I'm going to show you what to have on and what to have off. So as you can see there, your ambient light sensor, you want all of that off. Never have any of that on. Your brightness, this is for SDR content now, folks. I have my brightness set to 42. You have contrast at 90, and then you have gamma at 0. That's the default, as well as the black level set to its default at 50. Black adjust and advanced contrast enhancers. These two options, they're picture processing. You want both of them off. Peak luminance, I have it set to off in SDR mode, but when it comes to HDR and Dolby Vision, you want peak luminance set to high. You always have to have it set to high. For color, I have it at the default at 50, hue at 0. Color temperature on SDR content, I have on expert 1. Live color, again, knocked off. Clarity, I need to mess around with this a bit more. The sharpness is at the default at 50, but 50 for sharpness sounds incredibly high for my liking, so I might have to tamper around with that. Reality creation is basically super resolution. You never want to have that on. And of course, random noise reduction and digital noise reduction, both of them set off. If you have them on, you're removing every bit of fine detail on your picture. Smooth graduation, I have it set to low on HDR content, on SDR content. You can, on HDR and Dolby Vision, you can have also have it set to low, but I do have them set to off. But I think low is okay, just don't go any higher than low. This is my motion sensors setup, and as you can see, I have it set to custom. And normally now when it comes to motion flow, I would recommend knocking it off. But because this TV is it handles motion so well, I recommend going on to custom and then smoothness set to level 1. And it's the safe play, that one, because you don't get that soap opera effect. But if you do go higher than number 1, I think that will start creeping into your picture a bit. So yeah, don't go any higher than for softness 1, or smoothness 1, sorry. And then clearness is set to minimum, so it's basically off. Filler mode, you would definitely want that off. And then you've your video signal there. It's just everything is all, well, it's not grayed out, but it's set to auto, so it's it's the default. And then right down here you have advanced color adjustments. Now this is something that I'm not going to show you, folks. I actually have it calibrated, but I had to go online and basically do a lot of my own tinkering as well with this. And I definitely don't want to encourage anyone to actually, set their TV up in a certain way where they won't appreciate it. This is ideal for me, but it might not be ideal for you. But as you can see there as well, that advanced color temperature, you see the multi-point 20p. Well, if you don't download that app that I was talking about, that will only be down as 10p. So I definitely think it's worth checking out that app. So that is my SDR settings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out with this, and I think I might have some HDR content on my TV already running in the background. So I'm going to go on to that, and I'm going to show you how the HDR is set up on this TV. So yeah, I think I have Hacksaw Ridge. There we go, it's coming up there now. Now what I'm going to do, folks, on this is I'm going to have I have the picture paused there, as you can see. So I tried this before, and when I started bringing up the menu on my camera, it started getting blurred out because the picture was moving in the background. So I'm going to keep it paused, and hopefully everything will turn out okay. So the usual again, back into our picture, into our settings. And as you can see, for this, for HDR content, I have it set to custom for Pro 2. It gives it just a slightly brighter picture. So as per usual, your ambient light all knocked off. Then onto your brightness setting, the default on HDR content is max, and I definitely recommend leaving it at max. For the contrast, I brought it down slightly over the Dolby Vision, which is we'll see. I have Dolby Vision, the contrast maxed out, but on HDR I put it down to 90. Gamma, you have it down to 0. Now, HDR tone mapping, I have this set to graduation preferred. Now there's three options in here. You have brightness preferred, you have that graduation preferred, and then you have it off. So for HDR content, I recommend putting on graduation preferred. Black levels, default set at 50. So black adjust again, and advanced contrast enhancer all knocked off. And as you can see there now, peak luminance is set to high. Always have this setting set to high when it comes to HDR content and Dolby Vision content. Onto color, again, default at 50. Hue set to 0. Color temperature, I have it on Expert 2. So SDR, I had it on Expert 1. HDR, Expert 2. Live color, again, off. Clarity, I need to, again, mess around with this. It's set to 50. I think that should go down a lot lower. Reality creation, definitely set to 0. And both of your noise reductions as well, as per usual, off. And there you go, smooth graduation. I have this set to low. You can knock it off. You can put it at low, but just do not go any higher than that. Motion, the exact same as the last time. It is set to custom. You have the smoothness set to 1 and clearness set to 0. And then again, that is your advanced color adjustment. Again, I would recommend going online and checking out some calibrations for the likes of that, and see how you actually feel. See if you can find the best option that probably suits your needs and what kind of environment you're sitting in. So that is my HDR content, and I don't know if it's coming across in the camera, but when you do watch the picture, it just looks absolutely extraordinary. The picture is almost three-dimensional. There's an infinite amount of depth to the picture, and yeah, I can't believe what I'm looking at. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on some Dolby Vision content, and I'll show you the settings on that. Right, so here we go. So I've got some Dolby Vision content on there, and as you can see, the picture mode that I have it set on here is Dolby Vision Dark. So the custom for Pro 1 and 2 option doesn't come available on Dolby Vision. So yes, I definitely recommend putting Dolby Vision on Dark, depending on the environment you're in. I'm in a very dark room, and it just looks great on Dark. But the option is also there to put onto Dolby Vision Bright. And then you've also got Vivid, just looks ridiculous actually, in all fairness. So yeah, Dolby Vision Dark is the ideal setting for a dark room. Right, so scroll down again, and as per usual, your ambient light sensor, you want all of that knocked off. Brightness, I have it maxed out on Dolby Vision, as well as the contrast, where on the other two I had the contrast slightly lower at 90, but on Dolby Vision I think it's best to max it out. Again, it is the default setting as well. Gamma set to 0. HDR tone mapping is off for Dolby Vision. Black levels at the default of 50. And again, as per usual, black adjust, advanced contrast enhancer as well, all set to off. Any kind of picture processing you do want to knock off. Peak luminance set to high, always on high with Dolby Vision and HDR content. Very important that. Right, so onto the color. So again, the color set to default at 55. No, actually, you know what? I actually have it slightly higher. I think the default is 50. I have it at 55. Hue is at 0. Temperature, color temperature is set to warm. So it's not an expert 1 or expert 2. You just have it at warm. Live color set to off as per usual. Clarity, again, it's set to 50. I need to tinker around with that. Reality creation, of course, super resolution. You definitely want that off. And of course, your 2 noise reductions, always have them set off. And on Dolby Vision, I have smooth graduation knocked to off. But again, you can have it on low. Just don't go any higher than that. Right, onto the motion, and as per usual, motion flow, I have it set to custom. And then you have your smoothness at number 1. Like I said, on the HDR content, do not go any higher than number 1, because you will start introducing that soap opera effect, and I know it distracts a lot of people, so definitely don't do it. And of course, clearness is set to 0. Film mode, again, knocked to off. And then again, your video signals, you have your HDMI audio range, that's set to auto. And then of course, color space is set to it's grayed out, sorry. And then again, like I said, that is your advanced color adjustments. And I have to reiterate that you should go online and try and find certain calibrations for them options. Like I said, I have found a few, and then I did a lot of tinkering myself, and I think I have it looking as well as I could possibly want. So that is it, everyone. That is all my settings for this TV for HDR, SDR, and Dolby Vision, and I'm hoping that could help you out. Right, folks, so there you have it. That is my new television, and you know what? It's one of those things that I'm still not done with it. You know, I've only had it for around, what, a week or two. And I know that there is going to be still a lot more tinkering to do, a lot more playing around with it before I get this perfect. And I am trying to hold off. Normally I get my TVs professionally calibrated. I'm trying to hold off on this one as long as I can to see if I can actually do it myself. But if the time comes to it where I have to get it professionally calibrated, I will absolutely do it, and I will share my thoughts on that whenever it does happen, and maybe share with you what he's done to this TV. But again, fingers crossed that I don't have to go down that route. Right, so that is my TV, that is my video, folks. So as per usual, if you did like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, and if you could leave a comment down below. And please do share your thoughts on this television. And yeah, I hope to see you all again real soon with my next video. Until then, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.